What's good, y'all? It's Classic and Man. I'm back with another video. So last night we had a UFC 322. Pretty solid card, honestly. I mean, two smudges in the co-main and main event. But other than that, saw some cool finishes, a lot of cool stuff. My bad. I didn't have time to make a recap, so that sucks. But next week I got a shot for UFC Qatar. I'll definitely make a recap for that. So today we'll be doing the fights to make after UFC 322. So pretty much any like fight that's kind of like borderline ranked level is kind of like any fighter that's borderline ranked level, and there's a lot of them on this card. I'll be making a fight for. So let's get into it. Starting off, we got Bizanger Susakayev, and I decided that we'll make the fight he asked for. We're doing him versus Bo Nickel. Now, honestly, as much as I hate Bo Nickel, this fight would be interesting as Susakayev just aura farms and dances around at range, doing literally nothing until he finds a KO shot or until he remembers he has to win. Which low-key might be a good base for MMA. He might be the next DDP and we don't know it, but I don't know. This fight would be interesting. I think Bo Nickel probably could beat Susakayev just because I mean if Bo Nickel wins anything on him, then because I mean Susakayev doesn't actually do defense. He doesn't land big shots or anything really. He just doesn't do anything until like the third round or whatever. Just kind of nonchalantly aura farms at range, for lack of a better term. That's all I have to describe Susakayev. And I mean, Bo Nickel's striking is awful, but his wrestling's pretty good, and he has decent power actually. I mean, I don't know. This fight would be really interesting. I don't know. I'd probably pick Bo Nickel just because I don't trust Susakayev yet, but this would definitely be an interesting fight. Alright, next fight on the card. So Pat Sabatini unfortunately beat Chepe Mariscal. And Pat Sabatini is one of the best grapplers in the division. He's on like a 3-fight win streak. Been beating some pretty solid names like Joe Anderson Burrito, and Chepe Mariscal was on a 5-fight win streak. So I think we give him a ranked opponent. And whenever someone needs a ranked opponent, you know who they give him. Dan Ige. This would be a decently interesting fight because Dan Ige is the classic gatekeeper, been number 13 in the division since like 2020. I mean, Pat Sabatini is genuinely one of the best grapplers in this division. Besides, like the few the Mobzars, Mobzar, Diego Lopez. I'm really trying to think who's better than Pat Sabatini. I know I'm forgetting someone. Not Brian Ortega. Aljo. Yeah, Aljo. Besides like Mobzar, Aljo, and Diego Lopez, I think Sabatini is the next best grappler in this division. And I think it would be maybe he can go on a little run at 35. Danny Gay is it's a pretty good stylistic matchup for him. I mean, Danny Gay doesn't do the best, but Danny Gay is also powerful. Pat Sabatini has no chin. He's pretty terrible on the feet, so maybe Danny Gay just fraud checks him and sleeps him. But I don't know. So that's what makes this fight interesting because you don't know what's gonna happen. So yeah, I think yeah, I don't know. This could be on this could low key be like I could see this being like a co-main of an Apex fight night. I think that'd be pretty sick. Like this is a co-main of an Apex fight night. That's what a Danny game Pat Sabatini just sounds like an Apex fight night fight. Anyways, for Chepe Mariscal, sadly he lost this fight. He did actually damage Pat Sabatini pretty well. Got his nose messed up. So for Chepe Mariscal, I'll just do a really fun fight for him. Just to bounce back and have kind of a scrap. I gave him Duho Choi. Duho Choi, ever since coming back to the UFC, he's been putting on scraps, knocked out Nate Landwehr. I mean, he's just a fun fighter. He brawls. Like, who doesn't like Duho Choi? Has that fight with Cub Swanson back in the day, which is like one of the best MMA fights ever. Like, yeah, Chepe Mariscal, super high-paced fighter, kind of like the Fluffy Hernandez of this division. I don't know. I think this fight would be pretty sick. Like, this would probably be like a fight of the night type of thing. I don't know. I'd put this on the prelims of a pay-per-view. I think this would be pretty sick. Like as a fight on the prelims of like a stacked review. Like we get another like UFC 322 like names level card, then I think this would be a great prelim for that. Like that should be like I'm not saying Paramount prelims because that's too soon, but like maybe like I don't know if they have like Kamzat or Ilya, main eventing, then I think this would be a great fight to put on those prelims. All right, next fight we got Kyle Dawkins, everyone's favorite gym teacher, and he knocked out GM3 pretty well. I mean, it's GM3, or didn't knock him out. I mean, he dropped him and then submitted him. I remember in that wrong. But so I think he should get like a borderline rank guy. I don't think he should get into the top 15 off that one, but I think he should probably be pretty close to it. And I think that he should get the loser of Marvin Vettori and Bruno Ferraro. So this is going to be on UFC 323 in a couple weeks, and I think whoever loses this fight, spoiler alert, is probably going to be Marvin Vettori. Should fight Kyle Dawkins. Like Kyle Dawkins is on a bit of a run here. Let's see if he can continue it. Like if Marvin Vettori loses this fight, then I really think Kyle Dawkins could probably be this kind of washed version of Marvin Vettori. Now, let's say Bruno Ferraro ends up losing this fight, then Kyle Dawkins is cooked and he's getting slimed out. But I'm just saying. This would be an interesting fight. And for GM3, I don't have any fights for GM3. I'm just gonna break to that. Yeah, after the awful performance I just saw, we're going to Cancun, buddy. We're retiring. Pack the bags. We're GM3. We're going on UFC BJJ with Paul Craig. I'm sorry, buddy, but your time has come. We all love GM3. We all wish he could have fluked Kyle Dawkins somehow with a submission, but sadly we didn't get that. So yeah, I think the run of GM3 is sadly over. So yeah, send him to Cancun. I don't know, get him some smoothies. He can drink smoothies with Bo Nickel. I mean, that's pretty cool. All right. Anyways, next fight on the card. All right. What's this guy's name? Ewing. Hold on. I'm trying to remember what this guy's first name is. I'm sorry. I might be a casual for this. I just don't remember. I just don't remember what this guy's name is. But the guy that fought Malcolm Willmaker, it'll come to my head into something. Ewing. Ethan Ewing. Yeah. Yeah. All right, for Ethan Ewing, I mean, crazy fraud check Malcolm Willmaker, one of the and probably the best fight of the night, honestly. Like that was pretty sick, man. And I think for Ethan Ewing, I think we should be giving him. I think he should get a borderline ranked top 15 guy after being legit one of maybe the best prospect in the UFC at that time, and he legit walked him down and mollywalked him on 2 days' notice. So I think he should get a step up, get a borderline ranked guy, someone who was in the top 15 last year. I think he should get Jonathan Martinez, honestly. Now Jonathan Martinez coming off, 2 losses to a couple of good guys, honestly, Marcus McGee, and then I think it was the Jose Aldo or someone else, I can't remember, but I know he lost two ranked guys, and now he's out of the rankings. But Jonathan Martinez still has those leg kicks. Like he has some of the hardest hitting leg kicks in the UFC. Oh my God, dude, the calf kicks, like Joe Rogan says, but actually, like his calf kicks actually do hit pretty hard. He almost finished Marcus McGee with calf kicks. He had better IQ, and he just kept on kicking Marcus McGee's legs. Then he would have won that fight. He would have finished Marcus McGee with leg kicks. And then for Ethan Ewing, I mean, I don't know. I just think this kid's actually pretty good. He's fun to watch. He's like 27 years old. I think he should win against Jonathan Martinez and get him in the top 15. Maybe this kind of blockhead, goofy dude who's willing to just walk you down and swing is the guy to beat Marab. I mean, I don't know. Gotta try at this point. So I think the Ethan Ewing could be interesting. Then for Malcolm Willmaker, yeah, that was rough. I won't lie. So yeah, I'm gonna give him one of the the bottom of the barrel guys at bantamweight, a guy that's also coming off a win. So maybe this is also just kind of a scrap. That's why I want to see this fight. I think we do Malcolm Willmaker versus Arichi Lang. Arichi Lang coming off that sick KO over Cody Gibson, but it has like a 4-4 UFC record. I mean, not the greatest. I mean, if you want to know that he's not good, he was a Raw Rosas Jr. opponent. The UFC only gives Raw Rosas Jr. cans, so I don't know. I think this is a decent step down for Malcolm Willmaker that he should win. I would be honest. I don't think Arichi Lang's all that good. He beat Cody Gibson, who's pushing 40. I mean, congrats, bud. I don't know. I think Malcolm Willmaker could get back on track and beat Arichi Lang. But this would also just be a sick fight. And let's say that Malcolm Willmaker doesn't find a first round K on him. He might lose to Arichi Lang. Like Malcolm Willmaker is so low output, bro. He legit all he has is the counter left. I don't get him. Yeah, I don't know. Malcolm Willmaker, I guess, was just never that good. But Arichi Lang, I guess, next. All right, now we can get into a fight that I would love to see. Now for my boy RoboCop, he didn't get the knockout over Kopolov, but it was a pretty entertaining fight. Just watching RoboCop just march at that dude. Dude's like a crazy, just insane looking human being. Like I don't know, 6'3", huge. I mean, looks like he's 220 in the cage. So I don't know for RoboCop. I think he should get a top 10 guy. And you know what I'm doing? We're doing a rematch between him and Jared Cannonier. Like that first fight was sick, man. Like when they main evented that Apex Fight Night, that's one of the best fights of this year because RoboCop walks in there, drops Cannonier twice, then just kind of gasses out, and then Cannonier gets the finish, but he knocks him out. But I don't think it was really that necessary that RoboCop had a bad chin and got chinned or anything. I think he was just gassed. But RoboCop showed that he's able to be more patient and look good in a 3-round fight against Robocop. Like he was patient and he was smart, and I think that Jared Cannonier's coming off that loss for us MVP. I mean, he's 42 years old. Like, I think he's gonna need to fight down. So, and RoboCop should get to fight up after the wins over Jack Hermanson, who was ranked last year. The UFC only removed. Like, Jack Hermanson should have been ranked for that fight. Jack Hermanson just got removed from the rankings for inactivity. And then Roman Kopylov, who was legit ranked a few weeks ago. So I don't know. I think this would be this should be a main event of an Apex Fight Night in 2026. Like, we need to run this back as a main event. Like, RoboCop versus Cannoneer 2. This would be fireworks, man. I really hope the UFC makes this. Like, if Jared Cannonier agreed to this would be sick. Now, for Roman Kopylov, yeah, that was not a nice looking performance. He kind of just stood around and did nothing, letting RoboCop bully around. So, who do I think he should fight next? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give him a guy he's around the middleweight, like borderline ranked level ish. Also, like, I'll give him. He should fight Michelle Olajaychuk. Like, Michelle Olajaychuk's actually, I'm pretty sure he's on the 3-fight win streak. Just came off that KO win over GM3, which not great, but I think Roman Kopylov's coming off 2 losses in a row. Like, he needs to step down. Olajaychuk, on the other hand, coming off 3 wins in a row, deserves a step up. So, I don't know. I think this would just be a pretty sick fight, honestly. Would be pretty entertaining, I think. Now, who do I think would win this? I actually don't know. This would be a really interesting fight, but I'd like to see this. Now, I already said what I'm doing with Bo Nickel. I'm doing Bo Nickel versus Sushikayev. Like, that's the fight to make, Sushikayev called him out. I think this is the fight to make. Now for our main card fights. Let's start with BSD. Who should BSD be fighting? I think he deserves around a top 5 level opponent after, knocking out Benny Dariush in 16 seconds. So, I don't know. I think he should be getting the loser of Arman Sarukian and Dan Hooker, which, spoiler alert, it's going to be Dan Hooker, but you never know, dude. Maybe Dan Hooker's going to get him, and maybe he's going to get him. Maybe he's going to get him. I don't think so, but yeah, because I mean, if Dan Hooker, let's say if Arman loses this fight, then he'll be sent down to be like number 3 or 4 in the rankings, and Dan Hooker be the number 1 contender. Which it's not happening. Arman's winning this fight. I hope everyone knows that, but I'm more confident. This is the most confident I've ever been on a fight in my life. But if Hooker loses this, he'll probably be still around the top 5-ish. I'd say, because once Islam leaves the rankings, they might move him down a spot, so he might be like either like 6 or the number after 6. We're not saying that, but I don't know. I think BSD should get a step up, and I think against Hooker, that would be an interesting fight. I might honestly favor BSD to beat an older, kind of battered Hooker, who I know has been winning fights lately, but I mean, robbed Gamrot, went to war with Jalen Turner. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. BSD versus the loser of Arman Sarukian and Dan Hooker, I think, is the fight to make. Then for Benny Dariush, man, I love Benny Dariush. Real ones remember when he schooled Gamrot, but until he fought Charles and got violently knocked out. But yeah, Benil, it's wraps. It's time for retirement. Give that ranking spot to someone else or retire, please. I don't want to see you get beat up anymore. Your chin's gone. You're washed. It's just time to accept it. He missed weight for this fight. He didn't even care to be here. Yeah. I love Benny Dariush. He should get a retirement package in the Apex or something. But, I think this is where I think it's the end for Benny Dariush. Now for Carlos Prates, who just picked up the big KO win over Leon Edwards, like I said he would. Pretty sick. Now, welterweight's a hard division to book just because there's so many good fighters in here, and none of them really want to fight each other. But that's a discussion for another day. So I don't know. Prates, you can go a lot of ways with this. You can have him fight Shavkat, Morales, any of these guys really. Usman, Buckley. Like, he could fight any of these guys. But what I think he should fight is low-key. I think he should fight, like, either the winner or the loser of this fight, honestly. Because I think if Bilal Muhammad wins this fight versus Ian Gary, then he's not getting the title shot because he doesn't want to fight Islam. And I don't think the UFC would give him one anyways. And then Carlos Prates could fight Bilal. Then if Ian Gary wins this fight and Bilal loses, guess what? Carlos Prates could still fight Bilal Muhammad. Like, I don't know. I like Carlos Prates rising up the ranks. You think let's say he beats Bilal, then I think he gets a title shot. And then let's say Gary loses this fight, maybe they could do Prates versus Gary too, I guess, if they wanted to. I don't know if anyone really wants to see that again, but if they want to remake Carlos Pratas versus Ian Gary again, then they could do that too. But I don't know. I think Carlos Pratas should be fighting the winner or the loser of this. He should be fighting someone involved in this fight. Okay, that's all I have to say. Well, I know it's terrible matchmaking, but I don't know who to book him against. Now for Leon Edwards, yeah, it's done for Leon Edwards. I'm not going to send him to retirement one more time. This is his last chance. He's on a 4-fight losing streak if he loses to this guy. And this is a guy that I don't like. Like I don't like. I think that Leon Edwards. This is a very winnable fight for him. I'm giving him Gabriel Bonfim. I booked Gabriel Bonfim versus Buckley last week, but nah, he should fight Leon Edwards. Like I thought about, he should fight Leon Edwards. Like Bonfim's on this decent win streak, just beat Randy Brown and robbed Wonder Boy, but I don't know. Let him rise up the division, and he can fight Leon Edwards. I don't know who should win. I don't know who would win this fight because I don't think Bonfim is very good, but Leon's also just really washed. So Bonfim might be able to just actually take Leon down and bully him because Bonfim's not a horrible wrestler. So I don't know. This would be interesting, I guess. I don't know. I'm not. Don't put this on a main event this would be a main. This would be the worst main event of a fight I ever, bro. Like genuinely, I'd hope that if this was a main event of a fight, I hope a double KO happens. Both these guys somehow knock each other out. Like please, that's all I'm asking for. Let's talk about a fight that I actually care about. Now, for Sean Brady, got slimed out by Michael Morales. Michael Morales is a mutant. It's okay. Sean Brady, you know what? I don't know if everyone's going to agree with this, or I think y'all should agree with this, but I think Sean Brady should be fighting Kamaru Usman. No, Kamaru Usman is not fighting Islam Makhachev for legacy. Sorry, Kamaru Usman is 1-3 in his last 4 fights and just beat what's his name? Beat Buckley, who's number 7 ranked in the division, and best wins are Colby Covington and Vicente Luque. So no, you're not getting a title shot, Usman. You're fighting Sean Brady. Then if Usman gets one more win over Brady, then I'll say we can give him a title shot. Cool, but he has to beat Sean Brady to get a title shot, I think. So I don't know. I think Sean Brady honestly would win this fight because striking wise, I mean, I don't know. I think Sean Brady's a better striker than Usman by this point. And I don't think Usman will be able to take down Brady because I don't think Bilal Muhammad is really able to take down Brady, and Usman by this point with his old knees. I mean, he's able to take down Buckley, but Buckley's takedown defense is genuinely atrocious. So unless you're shooting like choreographed freaking takedowns like Colby Covington, you should be able to get Buckley down. But Usman just was able to do that. So I don't know. I think Brady would beat Usman, but Brady versus Usman. I don't want to see Islam versus Usman. That fight does not make any sense whatsoever. So give me Brady versus Usman. I don't know. Like maybe as a co-main event of a pay-per-view. I don't know. Because Brady's gonna need some time off after getting slept in. I don't know. Usman just be sitting around. Once they give someone else the title shot versus Islam, then Usman will be forced to fight. So hopefully we do that. Now for Islam Makhachev, smudged my boy JDM, laid on top of him. Went for some submissions, boring fight. Impressive though, 50-45, someone who's very good. So good for that. I wasn't sitting there cheeky and sitting here just enjoying my life watching that fight. But Islam Makhachev did what he had to do. So who should Islam? I think he should be fighting Michael Morales next. No, Usman's not getting a title shot. No, Shavkat's not getting a title shot. Like we're not bringing Ilya Taporia up at 170. Ilya Taporia will look like Kelvin Gastelum at 170. We're not doing it. We're we're, we're doing Islam Makhachev versus Michael Morales. Maybe on the White House, honestly. As much, yes, it's an American card, but Islam said he wants to fight on the White House, and the UFC, I don't think they're going to give Kamaru. I guess Kamaru Usman is technically American, so they might do that. But the fight that makes the most sense. This is the fight that makes the most sense. Okay, Michael Morales just steamrolled Sean Brady in a fight that he took on a month's notice against one of the scariest guys in the division. That remember, Ian Gary ducked Sean Brady. Ian Gary did not want no part of Sean Brady. Like Ian Gary legitimately ducked that fight, and Michael Morales walked in there and knocked him out in 2 minutes flat. Beats on him, hands on him, lost a base. Like, come on, man. Michael Morales is sick, dude. Of course, Islam Makhachev would probably just take him down and endorse him around, but you never know. Michael Morales is a mutant, man. Maybe Islam just can't get to his hips and he's too much for him. I don't know. Like, I'd pick Islam to win this fight, but I don't know. Something might happen. Now, for my boy JDM, the JDM fans were hurting. Life's not good. You know, Life is not good, but hey, man. Yeah, who should JDM fight, man? I don't know. JDM, I do like this fight. I think also the welterweight, the welterweight downfall curse is something I've noticed. Every time a welterweight champion loses their belt, they usually go on a losing streak. Here, I'll name ones. So, Bilal Muhammad, we haven't found anything out about yet. But before that, Leon Edwards, 3-fight losing streak, 2 by finish. Kamaru Usman, 3-fight losing streak, 1 by finish. Tyron Woodley, like a 4-fight losing streak. Freaking Johnny Hendricks, huge fall off. I mean, like genuinely, every welterweight champ since after GSP has fallen off after they lost their belt. So hopefully it doesn't happen to my boy JDM. Hopefully we can break the curse because JDM's also not an old man like these guys. He's like 29. So I don't know. I think for JDM, who we should fight next is Shavkat Rakhmonov. I just think this fight would be sick, man. I mean, this would be a huge fight in welterweight. Honestly, this could main event a pay-per-view, and I wouldn't be mad about it. That's how much I like this fight. And that's not just because I'm a big JDM and Shavkat fan, but it's also just because JDM best boxer in the UFC, crazy hands. Yes, he got taken down a million times by Islam Makhachev, but that's Islam Makhachev. No one's as good of a wrestler as Islam Makhachev. People should know that he's the best fighter to ever. He might be the best fighter to ever grace the sport. So Shavkat, insane size, dude, 6'3", built like a tank. Does not have good wrestling, but just has enough physicality to take you down in the clinch and then go for that submission, go for the rear naked choke, do damage, land some ground and pound, smudge you like he did Ian Gary. Like Shavkat got it all, man, and he has some nice Muay Thai on the feet too. Like this fight would be sick, man. I really don't know who would win because on JDM's side, we don't. Maybe his wrestling defense is just really bad. And he'd get taken down and beat up by Shavkat. But also, Shavkat's not a very good wrestler. So if Shavkat's not able to take him down, then I think JDM puts the beats on him on the feet because this guy does not move his head. Like his head movement looked better against Ian Gary, but that's Ian Gary, who's string being with no power. JDM hits you with some power, man. So I don't know. This fight is my. Please make this fight, JDM Shavkat. Just make this fight, please. This fight would be absolutely sick. So those are my fights to make after UFC 322. Not the best card. It, it ended up being worse than it should have. If it wasn't for the boring co-main event, and if you're wondering why I didn't make a Valentina Shevchenko fight to make next, just we go rewatch that fight and tell me if I should make a video. Tell you if I should have made a fight to make for Valentina Shevchenko. I don't care. I don't give a crap. I don't care, man. So, anyways, hope y'all liked the video, and peace.